Hello, welcome to White Dirt Tarot. And when I greet you like this, you already know what's up. Today, it's not a reading that I'm going to be posting, but a Nandi Speaks video where I explain spiritual concepts. So today, as promised, I am going to be explaining the concept of time. Disclaimer, I do not want to be your only source of information. I believe that kind of the point of the spiritual path is for everyone to find their own way. Sometimes we wind up with the same conclusions. I was kind of surprised to see that Wolfman Experience Tarot posted a video after he did ayahuasca, and he was saying a lot of the same things that I've been harping on for years. Yeah, sometimes we wind up with the same conclusions, but the point is in getting there on our own. And the reason I say this is because the exact opposite of doing that is to throw away your critical thinking skills, to cease to think about things yourself, and to just follow a dogma. I am, as I've said in my other Nandi Speaks videos, pretty anti-organized religion. I believe that critical thinking is our superpower. Critical thinking, autonomy, divine free will is our superpower. And so if we give that up, we are basically surrendering our power to something external to us. And I don't believe in that. So that is why I would prefer if I am not your only source of information. Other than tarot, I do serve as somewhat of a spiritual mentor in the local community. A lot of people that are going through their own spiritual awakenings come to me and ask me questions, and I always do push for them to come to their own conclusions on their own whenever possible. I basically just try to guide them away from the sketchier stuff that could get them in some trouble. You know what I mean? So anyway, the concept of time. This used to confuse the crap out of me when people would say time is an illusion. And I'm like, what do you mean time is an illusion? And then I had my own kind of past life regression situation happen. And this was around the time that I was dying from a serious illness. I was literally on my deathbed. And I went to bed one night. I had 2 pieces of azurite that someone had gifted me, and I put them on both sides of my bed. And I went to bed, and I died 88 times in my sleep. And then when I woke up, I was very tired, because that's what happens when you go to sleep, you dream, you live a life, you die, and then you wake up in a panic and sweat, and then you keep doing that 88 times in a night. So anyway, I noticed looking back at my lives that they weren't in order. They weren't in the order of human history. I think that that's the order that they happened in, but they didn't happen in the order of human history. As in, like, what I dreamt was the order that they happened in, but in actuality, they weren't. Am I making sense? Anyway, so whenever people said time is an illusion, like a lot of the spiritual crowds say that a lot. And I'm like, what do you mean? I got it that night. So basically, what I've concluded with is that time in itself is real. It's not an illusion. But the linearity of time is, in the grand scheme, bird's eye view of the universe. So in this life, in our lives, yes, time is linear. But in the grand scheme of things, it isn't. So now then I started to question, okay, what does time look like? How does time flow? Well, like I said, I do other stuff outside of tarot. I do astral travel, astral projecting, exorcisms, Reiki, mediumship. And a lot of the way that I do mediumship is a little bit different, because I don't channel them here. Like, I don't invite the spirits here. I don't do incantations or whatever. I go there. So I travel. I'm better at traveling. So I just go do that to talk to them. But anyway, so anyway, in doing all of that, I've managed to piece together that there are alternative universes, alternative dimensions that are just like our plane of its existence, just slightly different. And then there's a lot different. And when you go to different astral planes, I've managed to piece together that time almost looks like a flower. It almost looks like a rose, like it just kind of petals out, or more like um like a dahlia. It looks like a dahlia. So each petal is each pocket of existence, which is where we are. And each petal has veins, right? Yeah, they have veins just like leaves do. And so those veins are straight out in the petal, right? So the linearity of time is a thing in each individual petal. So just picture a flower. It's like, here's the Big Bang, or, how the universe started. This is the point in which everything began. And from there, reality has petaled out. That's time. Time doesn't move in a straight line. It moves in a straight line in our existence on each petal. But in the grand scheme of things, from the bird's eye view of the universe, time blossoms out. So, yeah. When I was a child, I remember doing that accidentally. So basically, I got called out for dinner and I came out of my room and I felt this weird feeling. And all of a sudden, I was in someone else's living room. Like it looked kind of the same, like the structure of the apartment looked the same, but the decor was all different. There was a different family living in it. And I was like staring at them, and like the kid was looking at me funny, but nobody else seemed to be able to see me. And then I stood there and I blinked a few times. And then it was my mom sitting on our couch staring at me going, "Hello, hello, are you there?" And I was just like, ah, ah. And it was weird because I didn't even smell dinner when I was in the other living room. But I guess I slipped into another petal for a minute there. So basically, astral travel is kind of like moving petals. And you can move in different layers because time blossoms out. And creating an anchor point to which you can return to your petal is super important. That's why I try to stay connected with my own physical body so that I know where to go back. But that's for another video, I guess. I'm getting way too much into the astral travel part of things, but that's how time works. So if you've ever wondered what people mean when they say time is an illusion, they're half right, but that's not the whole thing. Time is real. The linearity of time is real. But in the grand scheme of things, time isn't linear. It blossoms out like a flower. So, again, be discerning. Do your own research. Don't use me as the only source of information because I am not interested in starting a cult inadvertently. And, yeah, enjoy going down the wormhole. So if you liked what you saw here today, please feel free to like, share, comment to help me out with the algorithm, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you get notified every time I post a video. And I'll see you in the next one.